All right, so let's take a look at modifying a new image in a function. And to have fun with that, let me load another file, but this file is incomplete. Modify image in function. I say it's incomplete because I have to actually change it around, and I want to explain it as I change it around. Okay, and so we're going to do red filter again, but we're going to do it differently. By the way, let me make sure modify image. No, I don't want to modify image in function. Sorry. I want to modify a new image in a function. So I actually opened up the wrong file. We modified the image in the function. Now I want to make a brand new image. This is the exact same code. Just doesn't have the red fill thing at the bottom. Exact same code. But I want to modify this. I don't want to change the original image now. This currently changes the original image. I don't want to do that. I do not want to modify the original image. I want to make a brand new image. And I want to leave the original image untouched. This changes the original global image, right? We saw how that worked. I don't want to do that. So let's write a little bit of extra code here to do this one. So I'm going to give myself some variables just to make it easier to understand. Just some height and width. I don't really need to do this, but just kind of clarifies things a little bit. I'm going to use white as my initial value when I create an image. So that's going to be the tuple I'm going to use. And I'm going to use the create image. And notice I have there's some descriptions in here now, so you can see a little bit more about the descriptions inside of the file in the code that's in the lecture 15 folder. I'm going to do create image. Let's actually steal the whole thing. So I'm going to create a new image. It's going to take a height and width of the original image. And the color, I'm going to set it to as white. So I'm going to make a brand new image. This brand new image is going to have the same dimensions as the original image. And I'm just setting it defaulted to white. It's not going to matter because I'm going to copy all the pixels. But there's one more thing I have to change. Let's think about what's happening here. Nested loops, we get the current pixel, we grab the red component out of the tuple, and here we're setting this back to the original image, right? This is the parameter image. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this image. And then I want to return this new image. So now I'm actually returning a value. And the value I'm going to return is a brand new image that's changed, and the original image is now untouched. There are no changes to the original image anymore. And nowhere in here do you see image in an assignment statement. All we're doing is saving or reading from the original, creating a new pixel, and sticking it into the brand new image. And so when I run this, we can look at global image, and we know it's, what is it? It's red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. So same thing. And now we're going to create a new image, and we're going to call red filt with global image. But let's look at global image first. It remains unchanged. There's still yellows in it. Remember last time there weren't yellows in it. Last time there were reds. So let's look at red image. This red image, 25500, 25500, 5500, this is all red now. So the red image, which we return from red filt, is the all red image. And the global image is still itself. It didn't change, right? So when we filtered the global image, we got this red image out of it. And now we have two separate images, right? We have red image and globe image, two different images with two different sets of values in it. And so that's how the red filter function works now, the new one. But I want to see, what does it look like in Python? And just so I can see it, let's actually add this over here. Ooh, that's getting in the way, isn't it? And again, just like before, from here to here, we're creating a globals table. And again, we have red. And again, we have yellow. And again, we have globe image. And all of that's exactly the same. I would probably have been smarter just to copy it. But here we are. There's red. There's yellow. And global image, if you remember, global image is a list of lists. Whoa, awkward. And that refers to that, and that's that, and this is global image. And this was red on the ends and in the center, and that was yellow in the center, and that's what global image currently look like. So this is literally the same, right, as last time. And then we call this down here. And that means we have to create a stack frame. Will res be deleted? That's a great question. We're going to find out in a second what happens to res. So now we have red filled. And again, red filled, so we get a stack frame and we get the image was passed in there. And this image, once again, refers to that. And now I'm not going to do all of the stuff last time. There's some new variables in here. There's an H, there's a W, there's a white, there's an R, there's a C. I'm not going to deal with any of those right now. The important thing here is res. This line here creates a brand new image. And I'm going to skip the details on how create image works inside, but what's going to happen is it's going to create a brand new image. And what is this image? It's going to have the same dimensions as the original image, which means it's going to create a list of lists. And what is it going to fill it with? It's going to fill it with, and I'm going to have to use gray because I can't draw white on top of white. But it's going to fill it with white. Right, that's what's going to be created when we call the create image. The height and width had the original height and width of image, so we recreated the same height, the same width. And then we set up all the pixels to white because that's what create image does. It fills in all those pixels from that parameter argument we passed. And this is res. That's res. So now we do the code inside the loop. And the only thing different is that one little line, right? So we're not modifying IMG. We're not modifying the original image. The one that's being modified is the res image. The reference to res is the one being modified. So all of these pixels here that are white are going to get the red components. And so the first time through, we get the red component of 0, 0. And we get the red component of 0, 1, and the red component of 0, 2, then 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 2. So all of these white pixels are now updated to be red pixels. And every time we take a pixel from the original image, though, and all of them have a 255 as the red component, we just get red. So we create these new pixels that are all red. And that's what happens to res during the loop. And then we hit the last line in the function, the return res statement, return res. And So we're going to return the res out of red filt. And that's that one on the bottom. So we're going to return it. And so what happens is this is going to get deleted. Someone asked what happens to res. Res is gone, but the return is still going to do some work. So all of these references are gone because the whole stack frame is destroyed. But this right here is going to, is going to return res and stick it into here because we know it got returned. That bottom list was returned. And so we get a new image, or a new global, I should say, called red image. And it's going to get a reference to what was returned, which was res. So the return value, so yes, res is deleted, but the return value takes the reference and assigns it to the thing that was on the left-hand side of the equal sign. And so we get the second 2D list now as red image. And so we get the second 2D list because we have what was returned. Oops, I lost a red thing here. That was returned by red filter. And at the top level, we have RY, global image, which is untouched, unmodified. And then we have red image, which is a reference to this new image that was created in the function, which is all red. And we create that in a function and then we returned its reference. Remember, originally it was all white, now it's red because we modified it. And so that's what happens when you return a brand new image. And this is what it looks like inside of Python when it runs. Any questions on that? I know it's a tough one. That one's pretty weird. Basically, if you turn a reference, the reference doesn't get destroyed as long as there's something referring it to it. And so since we returned it, we still had something referring to it. And so we just move that reference around.